It's summertime in India, and if you are in town, there are two things that would have definitely had an impact by now: air conditioners and power outages. Am I right? Hello, and welcome to the Mission Shunya podcast. I am Girish Shivakumar. It wouldn't take long for you to recognize that the number of air conditioners installed in Indian houses have gone up significantly over the last few years. Also, the sales for air conditioners picks up generally during the summer months. It is also quite natural for you to face multiple power outages during the summer months. But did you realize that the increase in air conditioners have a direct impact on the power situation across towns and cities? On this episode, I have a chat with Abhishek Ranjan, AVP of System Operations from BSES Delhi, to find out more about this topic and also about the new program that the Delhi utility is bringing up with the Energy Efficiency Services Limited. I began the discussions by asking him about the electricity demand growth in Delhi over the last few years and what percentage of the electricity demand is from ACs, especially in the summer months. And this is what he had to say.
The demand has been growing a lot, especially in the peak summer. And if we talk about the CAGR for the last 17 years now, we have been in service here since 2002 when the privatization happened. So year on year, the total CAGR for the last 17 years has been around 6%, the peak demand. And the peak demand is usually in the months of either June or July. The Delhi peak is mostly in the daytime. Sometimes it is also in the night. Whereas in the BSES area, mostly it is in the night time because that is of residential AC load. Now, having said that, the peak demand that was met by Delhi last year, instantaneous SCADA peak was 7016 megawatt. We are serving in the west and south portion of it, and our sister concern Yamuna is serving in the eastern. So together we are serving around two-thirds of Delhi in terms of number of consumers as well as load. Now, the load research that we did around 3 years back also pointed out that over 50% of our peak demand is due to the air conditioner or the cooling load. And in the cooling, the majority is the air conditioner in terms of quantum. Now, having said that, this load continues to grow. This year, Delhi is expected to have a peak demand of around 7,400 megawatt. And in the BSES Rajdhani West and South Delhi area, we are expecting around 3,200 megawatt. Now, if you see the load duration curve, this peak demand is there only for, say, 1 hour or 1.5 hours. So typically, if we see the load duration curve and also the daily load curve, on a peak summer day, hot summer day, last year, for example, 10th of July, when the Delhi experienced the peak, the difference in the maximum demand and the minimum demand within the same day was of the order of around 1160 megawatt. So you can see the diurnal variance in the demand, and therefore the peak demand is only there for a very small limited amount of time. And to give you an idea, normally the peak is experienced between 2 to 4 p.m. in the day and in night around 2200 to 2400 hours.
Considering the factors, the Delhi electricity regulator had come up with a plan to enable consumers to upgrade to more efficient ACs. The plan is in operation for the last couple of years. How did the program come about? Here is Abhishek summarizing the program.
So the Delhi regulator, we filed a petition and Delhi regulator approved the same, and that was 5-star energy efficient AC replacement program. So any BSES consumer who is not at default is eligible for participation. And this program started last summer, and still continuing. This summer also it is continuing right now. So the key highlights are an old AC, whether a window or a split, can be replaced under the scheme, and the AC can only be under replacement, cannot be a new purchase. So the AC thus collected by the vendors are disposed of in a green manner and which is witnessed by the DISCOM and ensured by the DISCOM, as well as the user of the AC, if he so desires, and certified by Green Tribunal or State and Pollution Control Board certified agency. So the idea was to select only 5-star models from the different OEMs in the market, call for a bid, whatever the best rates discovered for different models, which are mandatorily to be 5-star, and then the regulator gave a discount on each model, and that was a function of the energy savings of the model. So typically the discount ranges in the range of around say 4,000 to 5,000 rupees per piece, and this was applicable only for the residential consumers. Ours is a discount where around 85-86% is residential only, wherein we see a lot of peak demand, night peak, etc. Therefore, it is meant for only residential consumer. There is a savings of around 46 to 50% over the MRP under the scheme, and we as a DISCOM are also promoting it by offering doorstep services and also online service. So the people don't have to run here and there. They simply can log on to our website and avail the services, and the vendors, if they are made a choice, whether Voltas or Godrej, LG, whatsoever, the corresponding people will land up at their home, take away the old AC, install the new one, and everything is done at the consumer's convenience with the prior app. So last year, about 3,200 consumers had availed this facility. Initially, the regulator has allowed 10,000 such ACs to be installed. So we are this season we are targeting around 7,000 from under that same scheme. If the number of ACs are replaced before the season is getting over, so the season is from April to September, and normally in the first 3 months we see a lot of interest, April, May, June, before the onset of monsoon.
BSES has now taken the drive to a next level. They have partnered with the Energy Efficiency Services Limited, who have been instrumental in the LED adoption across the country. So what is this partnership all about? Is it about low-cost ACs?
EESL or Energy Efficiency Services Limited have been a strategic partner for BSES, and we have already have an MOU with them, not only in the field of like Ujala, which was a thumping success in the country, but also in agri-DSM, other energy efficient appliances like fans, tube lights, and now this one, which we have tied up, this is one of its kind in the history of India, wherein we are saying the EESL is going to have a online platform, EESLmart.in. So just like consumers log on to Amazon, make purchases and get the home delivery, very similar experience is expected to be on this line. So till date, whosoever is willing to avail the appliances has to come to the DISCOM's offices or customer care center, etc. And that was sometimes a hassle. And therefore, the distribution was not to that extent. But now, with this new initiative, initially we are covering 5 appliances under this scheme. One is the super energy efficient ACs, which may be compared to say 7-star ACs, which are highly super energy efficient. Then you have cooktops, induction cooktops, cook stove basically. And then you have regular LEDs, tube lights and fans. Energy efficient 50-watt AC fans, otherwise you have 78 to 80-watt fans in the market. Now, the idea was to cash in on the technology which has come up and make available the services to the doorsteps of the consumer, because people generally who are purchasing ACs, normally they are well-off people, and that is the need of the hour. So this super efficient energy efficient ACs, there is initially the replacement is not mandatory. It is optional. So people can purchase outright on the website and it will be delivered to their home. And we as a utility are going to partner with EESL in ensuring that our consumers get the benefit out of it. So initially it is the BSES consumer who can avail this facility only, who is living inside the license area of BSES. And that is going to be ensured through the portal features. So anybody who is a valid consumer can very well log on to EESLmart.in and make the purchases, where the online validation is made in the back end through the BSES Delhi portal. And once the validation is done, he or she can place an order. Now, under the scheme, the replacement, as I said, is optional. And if somebody is opting for a replacement, he shall be suitably given some discount for the old AC, whether performing or not performing. But it should be there inside the home of the consumer. Now, second important thing is this scheme is applicable not only for residential, but also for any category of consumer, unlike the current scheme that we are running under the regulators approved. So we feel that institutions, offices, malls, hotels, hospitals, schools, colleges, etc., also constitute a big chunk of the AC load. So there is a need to make them more energy efficient. These being the 7-star ACs might be slightly, on a higher side. The cost is yet to be discovered, that the bids are on way, and by end of this month, I think the bid should be finalized and received by EESL. And then the exact cost will be known. So we are saying that both the schemes will run in parallel. One is dedicated only to the domestic consumer. Another is not limited to the domestic consumers. The consumers will have enough choice and ease of doing business. In one, we are offering doorstep services. In the second one, he is also getting the doorstep services through comfort of a website. So both the ways, we are trying to see that the penetration of energy efficient ACs increases and the old ACs get out of the circulation. That is more important. Otherwise, the entire program, the objective is not met.
That's really good. An online marketplace to buy energy efficient appliances and possibly on a lower cost scale is definitely a good bargain for the consumers. Are there any other benefits to the general consumers?
Yeah, one is one-time capex investment by the consumer. Second is obviously lifelong savings in the electricity bill, and that the consumer can expect definitely. And there are a lot of savings. For example, in the current 5-star AC compared to a 3-star AC, there is an annual saving of around 730 units per AC per season. So there are some assumptions. So in the super energy efficient ACs, it could be even more. So there is enough savings for him or her in the bill. Number two is like the contribution of the consumer in containing the carbon emission or footprint, because we as a utility, we have around 80-85% of portfolio which is coal based as of now, and which is going to change. In the next 2-3 years, we have already tied up with SECI, and then by the end of 2021, we would have around 30% of capacity which will be totally green, wind and solar. But as on date, 80-85% is coal based, and if they are consuming less electricity, that means they are lessening the carbon footprint and contributing to the global cause of containing the global warming. And then second is the pollution part. Pollution also is getting reduced. They are contributing to lowering of the pollution because the coal assets will be burnt less, including Dadri coal, which is there in the vicinity of Delhi. So that way, they are going to help a lot in terms of environment, in terms of power purchase cost optimization for the whole DISCOM. Because in the peak hours, when the AC run, the power purchase cost is very, very high. That means the cost at which we buy from different stations or from the exchange. So if the power purchase is lessened during these hours, the benefit can be passed on to the consumers in the shape of lower tariff. So it's a win-win for all the set of consumers, even if who has not purchased the energy efficient ACs. So it's all about environment, about the optimization of power purchase cost for himself, bills for himself, and also for the entire DISCOM, all the ratepayers, and of promoting the cause of pollution.
Thanks, Abhishek.
Thanks a lot, Girish.
So, if you are in Delhi, you can sign up to this program and do your bit. We will keep you posted on the latest developments on the scheme. You can visit the BSES website for further information. But if you're living away from Delhi, I got a tip for you. According to EESL, which recently mandated the AC manufacturers to set the default temperatures to 24 degree, a 1 degree increase in the temperature setting of your ACs can help you save about 6% of electricity. So if you see your AC is now set at about 20 degrees Celsius, grab the remote and increase it to about 24 degrees Celsius. A 4 degree increase in the temperature would probably help you save about 25% of electricity, which is a good deal. Got a question? You can always write to me at missionshunya@gmail.com. You can also find me on Twitter at missionshunya or Instagram, YouTube. And also the podcast is now available on all major platforms for Apple and Android devices. Next episode will be out in 2 weeks' time. Stay tuned. If you like the episodes, let your friends and colleagues know about it. Signing off, this is Mission Shunya, towards a zero carbon economy.